Hi guys, and welcome back here to the Dev Realm, and today we carry on our inventory series and we are on the bonus part. And I just want to fix a quick bug that basically we have this issue here that when you get an item and you press split and you press confirm, it basically creates a duplicate, but then the item is here. So what we're going to be doing here is that before we press split, we need to make sure that we have items. So the quantity we don't have this issue here. So the way we can actually do this is that we are gonna open up here the item split, right? And on the confirm, I think, where do we call this again? Let me just remember. So on the base inventory, there we go. Yes, here. So when we split the item, here we gotta do a couple of checks, right? So I'm gonna do it on here, right? And I'm gonna do the check probably on the client side, or maybe, I mean, we can do it here. I guess we can actually do it on this item here. So the check that we would like to do here is that we want to get a branch. We're gonna break this, and we're gonna break the item, and we want to make sure the quantity does not equal the new item quantity, because right now if I press, let's say, print, not this, I'm just gonna do a print, for example, here the quantity, right? So if I press play, I grab. Now if I press split and press confirm, I have 5. So if the quantity equals the max quantity of items, it means that the user is trying to do something that we shouldn't allow the user to do. In this case, we just need to do a branch. And here what we are gonna do, I'm just gonna I want to make sure, I mean, that's fine. I guess we can always change this in a sec. It's just because it looks a little bit bad, all this numbers that. But what we can do here is that I just need to connect it here, and if it's different, that means that we can actually do the split. Otherwise we don't have to, you know. Like right now, we can't split, but if I do it like here, it will allow me to do, and basically will allow me to do all this stuff here. So as you can see, that works. So if I add a minus, yes, get it and get it. So you need one more slot. It's fine. So if I try to split, doesn't work, and here as well, it does allow me to work, but I didn't think this will work, does it? You need one more slot. Nice. Okay. The next thing that I would like to do here today, guys, as well, is that as part of the UI, I would like to do some kind of a notification system, similar to, you know, like a toast message. Toast message, basically this kind of messages here. So I would like to come up with something similar for our game. Okay. And basically here on the UI, I'm just gonna basically open up here the Inkscape. So on Inkscape, just looking up for the tutorial, inventory, and there we go. So it's loading up, and in the UI that we're looking for, oh, I just closed it here. We need to do something like this for information, success, and all that stuff, right? So here we have on the document, I think I should have this one, right? So I have this one here. What I would like to do is to basically add the slot icon here, and then the message. Of course, inside the icon would be the slot, right? If it's a success or if it's a dangerous one or something like this. So without wasting too much time, I mean, I guess we can even use this one here. How big does it need? I mean, yeah, we can use that. We can use this one here. Yeah, so the first step that I want to do is make sure that on Unreal, we're gonna go back to the master inventory, and on the texture, I'm pretty sure that I already have this item added, right? Yes, I already have this added. The problem is that it's a context button, so it's quite big, right? As you can see here, it's quite like, you know, it's quite big as a. But I guess we can always change this. So we're gonna be using this. Now what we need to do here is that we need to create our widget, right? So I'm going to create here a new folder called notifications. All right. And then within the notifications, I'm going to create here a widget. And this is going to be called WBP. I guess I can call this notification widget, or just notification. That's fine. Notification. Now, so let's start to scope out our item. So what we need here is a border, right? So we need to add a border. And then within this border, we need to add the context menu button, all right? Now we need to decide how big do we want this to be. So in here, it has a crazy size, but I guess we can make it something like, so let me desired screen. So, or maybe desired or custom on screen. There you go. So we can do the width, something like, let's say 600 by 200, or maybe 100. Well, let's try to scope out first, and then we see what happens. So in here, using this design, we have the icon, message, and then the close button. So what we can do is that we need here a horizontal box, right? So everything gets horizontally aligned. And now we need to add a couple of things. So first, do we have here, I'm going to add a border. And then within this border, this is going to be added the item or maybe slot. Do we have something called slot? Yes, we do. We can make it fill, or maybe not fill, but something like, I guess we can leave it like this for now. Then what we need to add it inside here is what we call the icon itself. So this is going to be an image, right? I'm going to add the image right here. And this is going to be the notification icon. All right. Now the notification icon, maybe we add a padding of 10, just something so it stays inside. And then I'm going to wrap this with a size box because I want to be able to control the size of this. And I want to make sure that the size is something like 64 by 64. Very, common level things. Auto. Now, border. What I can actually do here is that I'm going to wrap this with a size box. And also the size box will be, I guess, in this case, we can design screen. I'm going to put 600 by 100. All right. Okay, that's good. Now we got the border. We got this. I'm not entirely sure why the height of this is not increasing. Maybe we need to change center. So that's fine. So we want to align that. So we maybe want to add 10 of padding or maybe 20. Yeah, 20 of padding, it's fine. Now on the size box, I do want to change the height. So I want to make sure everything is even. So now within this border, to be honest, this is no, do we have any different, do we have a border or a background? Do we have anything else? I mean, I guess that's fine. Otherwise, it's too much colors there, right? Now we have here the notification item, which to be honest, the padding could be just set to 5. And here we are gonna go to the icons that we created here. So we're gonna go back to the texture icons. Here I'm gonna go back to that website called Game Icons, right? And in here we need one for, let's say, check mark, which will be indicate success. I just want to make sure I have no background. So in this case here, the reset, but the background, where's the color? Can use a transparent color, radio, gradient, none. There you go. I'm going to download as a PNG. Now the next one I want to do here is cross, right? Or do I have an error? I mean, that actually, this will look quite cool actually to show error. like that. It's not common thing to do, but now we need a warning. If I go back here, I need to search for warning. Do we have a warning? Hazard sign, yeah, sure. And then the last one is called info, right? And we can download those. Nice. So now we're gonna go back here on the inventory here, right? I'm just gonna add t dash and t dash. By the way, those icons you can edit on Inkscape, so you can even make those, you can add borders and all sorts of things. So feel free to, edit this on Inkscape or anything they use to edit your graphics, right? I just like to use Inkscape because it's free. But anyway, now we plug it here, and there we go. So this is more or less how it's gonna look like, right? Not too bad. Now, what we need to add here is on the horizontal box, we need to add a text. So we're gonna add a text. Here we're gonna align everything in the center, and this is, of course, it's going to be. So this is gonna be, let's say, where is the font? So let's search for font. The Roboto, right? And here we can actually select the Cambria. I think we have the bold. I want the bold one. Yeah. Now the color, well, normally we can kind of use like a green and then a darker green. I don't know. Like we're just gonna mess around with this first, and then we see what happens. So there we go. So that's the padding from the left. I want to make sure it's something like 5, so it's not too closed. Now, the toast messages, they have info, warning, success. To be honest with you guys, you just basically put the message here, message here. We don't need to do that, all the bits of it. Now, the next thing I want to search is for a button, a BTN. Well, although we have a button, what I'm gonna do here is that I'm gonna search for the item. Where is the one where we added the button? We did add the button here, which is fine. I'm just gonna copy this. Copy. Go back to the notification. I'm gonna paste it right here. Right? And this is gonna be always aligned to the left of auto, but we always want to align here, right? On the actually you can do it vertically, that's fine. Or maybe on the top, yeah. And in here, I mean, you can add a graphic for X for the button. I'm just gonna leave it as X, like this. That's fine, nothing super complicated. And it's gonna be called close BTN. And now the message I am gonna wrap with a scale box, because if the message is too big, I want to be contained. I don't want this to be just in case. The scale box fill. Maybe like that. Fill or fill Y. Fill scale to fit. Why is that not getting all the sizes? Let's double check. If I just have a message, for some reason that it's not filling up. So auto. Oh, I can leave it like this. Scale to fit. Stretch only down. No, I think it's both. We can leave it for few. Scale to fit. I'm not entirely sure why. I'm just gonna actually replace it by the child, and then we see if this gets too big. But anyway, this is gonna be the message. Here's the fun part. So the message part, what we would like to do here, I'm just trying to find where it was the. So you go the horizontal box, and then here, if I do auto or fill, This is strange. Maybe justify. I'll just leave it the way it was. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap with a scale box just in case, because I would like to make the scale box to be fillable. I'm just trying to, let's say, if we had a bigger message, something like that. And this is gonna be maybe 0. What happens if you leave it 0? Filter on the center, maybe fill. No. X, Y, fill, safeguard, specific. I mean, I think we can leave it scale to fit on the Y, sorry, or X in this case. The only problem is that this is quite small, right? So I'm not entirely sure if that would be the best. Maybe do I have to wrap it with another scale box, a horizontal box, scale box? Nope. Well, anyway, I'm just gonna replace with the child for now. And then what we can do here is that after I'll check it out, the best way of doing this. I'm just gonna leave it the way it is right now. Anyway, so now that we have our message, right? We have here the message. We can actually change here a little bit the font. I'm just gonna leave it to like something like 12, or yeah, or maybe even 16 would be not too bad here. Now this is a variable, and this is gonna be called the message. Message title, right? Now what we can do here on the graph, we're gonna create here API. So we're gonna create here a custom event, and we're gonna call this API display notification. Right. So now what we need to do is that we need to go here back to the master inventory. We're gonna go back to variables, and we are gonna create a new folder called notification. And then without the notification, we're gonna create here enum e-notification. Right, and here we're gonna have basically a couple of states that we have it, for example, like Bootstrap, right? If you knew, Bootstrap is quite good with these things. So where we have the toasts, so we have the toasts here. Show toasts, show live toast. Where do they have the other settings? I'm just looking for the examples of like badge. I mean, I guess we can just use this, but anyway. So you have here success, danger, which is going to be error, but anyway. So here we need to add 4, right? And the first one we can use here is the success, right? So I'm just going to copy this. The second one's going to be danger. And then I'm going to use here warning. By the way, you don't need to use this. I'm just like to use it because it's just, Bootstrap, something that quite famous. So we can use that as an example. Anyway, info, right? Success, danger, and warning, and then info. Now on the notification itself, we need to add here an input called type, right? And this, it's gonna be called the e-notification, notification. And then we're gonna do a switch case. Actually, better than a switch case is that we're gonna get here our notification icon, and we're gonna first set the texture from here, right? Now what we can do here is that we can do select, right? And then we can plug this value right here. And now what we can do here is that on the texture widgets, notifications, what is it? Notifications, icons, there we go. So if it's success, we do this. If it's the danger, we do that. Actually, the danger is the terror. Yeah. Warning is this, and then the information is just the info, right? So pretty simple, standard. Now what we're gonna do is just that we need to set to the text. The text will be whatever the person defines. We define it here, right? Nice. Now we can compile and save this information. And now we have here this. Now the button here to close, we just need to trigger event that on click. We basically dispatch here EV click, close notification. All right. We can just compile and save. And now we're just going to call it right here. That's all we got to do. Now, on the BPC base inventory, we need to basically create a logic to add those widgets. So normally, what I like to do for these kind of things is we like to create a border, right? Or not border, sorry, a scroll box, which will be added, let's say, on here. It's going to be 0, 0. That's fine. This is going to be the notification box. And that's fine. And what we're going to try to do here, to be honest, this can be 0, 0, and then this can be, well, let's try to first define the size. It's going to be 600 by, let's say, 800. Yeah, that's quite decent size, actually. It's quite not bad. Now the alignment, maybe we can leave it 1. And that's it, right? So it is aligned here, which is great. Let me check. Does the inventory interfere here? No, it doesn't, which is fine. Now we can try by adding notification. So just to see how it looks like. So if I add it, copy and paste, let's see how does it look like. So you see, it will look like something like this. And feel free, guys, to change the UI, by the way. You don't need to use this. It's just that what I have. And now what we can actually do here is that we can copy that. We're going to go back to the graph. And here we're going to create here a custom event. And this is going to be on the inventory and inventory UI. Okay. And we're going to call this API add notification, right? This we're going to create a widget, right? And this is going to be the notification widget. Now we're going to call the API set notification. This is going to be expandable right here. Once you do that, you need to add that to the notification box. So what we're going to do is just we do this and we're going to add child, right? This is going to be the child that we are adding. We're going to add it like here, which is fine. And one thing that very important we need to do here is that we're going to need to call the API, bind EV on close notification, right? Now the problem is that we don't necessarily have the button here to close it, right? So we would need to keep that on an array. So what I'm gonna do here, for the sake of the tutorial, I'm not gonna have this close button. I'm just gonna leave it out because this will disappear anyway. Now, one thing that I would like to do here is that I would like to make it so we added a delay of, let's say, 3 seconds or 5 seconds, and then we're going to remove from parent, which means we're going to delete this notification. Now here, I know the story got a little bit longer, but let's just finish off. So now we have add a new notification. Look how cool is this right now. So remember that here we have this else situation, right? So what I can do here is that under the UI, I can create here a custom event called API add notification. And remember, guys, this must run on the client always, because the client is the one that has the UI inventory. Okay. So here we're going to call the API this add notification, right? Or it can be notified, doesn't matter. But anyway, so we add it here. Add a notification to the main widget. And now we can go back to the remove item, oh, sorry, to the inventory items, right? And here we have the user splits the item. So what we can do is just we paste it there, and we can say this is a danger, and we can say please change the item quantity, right? Or something like this. Now what would happen is that you get the item, and then you do something like this and confirm. Please change the item quantity. One cool thing that I forgot to do here as well is that based on the, for example, we can do not the notification box, but we have the text, right? Notification widget. We display notification. Yeah, we can set the color and opacity of this thing here itself. We're gonna make color. We're gonna do a switch or a select. And we can do the same thing based on the type. Maybe can we do a select on this? Does it has to be Boolean? Okay. Well, I guess that makes things a little bit more harder. Set color and opacity. Can we do a select? Yes, okay, that's fine. Beta wildcard. It needs to be on the component. Anyway, so now we can paste it here. Now, if it's successful, basically we just make a color. You know, we just basically are making random colors. So success, danger, normally it's red, right? You know, feel free to create a proper variable to this. Normally those things, they won't change, but it's a good way of creating your inventory by actually setting up all those variables. Now guys, look at this. We get the item, right? Come back, split, confirm, split, confirm, split, confirm. Please change the quantity of that. Look, that I don't like how much space there is on this. But now basically it's just the case that you guys need to go and come in here and say, okay, I don't like how much space there is here. So you can go here to the left and then 10 or, 10. And then we press play. And then we have all those things here. Split, confirm. And then we have a little bit of a beta UI here. And basically you can use now this to notify anything that you want on your game. So right now we can come in here and we can do anything you would like to notify. So once again, guys, thank you very much for watching. I know this got very long, but it's a very nice feature that we added here, the ability to add notifications. And what I would like you guys to do here is just make sure that you spend some time, creating a nice widget, which, this is a nice widget, but it can be always craft. So once again, thank you very much for watching. See you in the next one.